My dear good people of Rivers State, in the last 2 months, we have implemented several calculated measures in response to the outbreak of the coronavirus in our state. Some of these measures were severe but necessary, including the total lockdown of Obiabo and Port Harcourt local government areas, which are, without doubt, the socio-economic nerve centers of our state. Arguably, These measures and your sacrifices have enabled us so far to contain and limit the spread of this virus to 4 out of the 22 local government areas of the state. Also, the pattern of infection remains predictable, as there is yet any evidence of serious community transmission, although this cannot be ruled out with the increasing number of positive cases, the majority of which are connected with contacts with oil company workers who imported the disease into the state. And so, while we should all still be concerned, since our set goals in the battle against the virus are not yet achieved, we are totally in control, working hard every day and believing that the worst will soon be behind us. In continuation of our struggle against the spread of COVID-19 in our state, we had planned to resume the total lockdown on Obiakpo and Port Harcourt local government areas from Wednesday, 27th May 2020. However, after a comprehensive review of the measures we have taken and further considerations placed before us by well-meaning members of the public, the State Security Council has decided to cancel the proposed lockdown on Obiakpo and Port Harcourt local government areas of the state. In essence, no part of Rivers State is or will be under any lockdown from this moment, and this will be so except where it becomes necessary again. As we all know, the regular washing of hands, religious wearing of face masks, keeping effectively physical and social distance of between 1.5 to 2 meters from other people, completely avoiding touching of faces with unwashed hands, and cleaning of surfaces we regularly touch have been identified as some of the most effective measures against contracting this virus in the absence of vaccine. These are not difficult measures that should warrant any excuses for negligence, none are ineffective compliance. Consequently, we wish to reinforce our decision on continuous implementation of the following measures throughout the state to mitigate the spread of this virus. All land borders, including all exits and entry routes into Rivers State, shall remain closed to human and vehicular traffic, and sea borders, except those on essential services and duly exempted. All residents must wear face masks or covering into any public space, including our roads, banks, shopping malls, shops, hotels, and in any lawful social gathering. The state task force and security agencies have been directed to arrest and summarily prosecute any person seen on our streets or any other public place without wearing face masks. All banks, motor parks, hotels, restaurants, shops, business centers, shopping malls, and offices must maintain social distancing and enforce the wearing of face masks in their premises. The state task force and security agencies have been directed to seal up, prosecute, and confiscate to the state any bank, shopping mall, restaurant, business places, or office that fails to enforce social distancing and the wearing of face masks in its premises. In addition to providing daily guest lists to the police and the Department of State Security, hoteliers must not host large gatherings, including parties and receptions. Defaulting hotels will be sealed up and the owners summarily prosecuted. All bars, beer parlors or drinking joints, nightclubs, viewing centers, open markets, and cinemas shall remain closed until further notice. Oil mill market in other local government area shall remain closed until further notice. Ogniwa Slaughter Market in Obiakpo local government area shall similarly remain closed until further notice. Mbiama Market in Ahuda West local government area shall also remain closed until further notice. All public weddings, burials, and large social gatherings shall remain banned. Churches and other religious gatherings should continue to comply with the existing advisory on social distancing, initiate temperature checks, and enforce the wearing of face masks during their worships and other activities. Dealers in Ikoku spare parts markets are warned for the last time to stop converting public roads to mechanic workshops or risk final closure. Similarly, no mechanic workshop should be found along the quarry road as government will prosecute defaulters and confiscate any vehicle being repaired on any public road. Private and commercial vehicles, including tricycles, must continue to limit their passengers to the number earlier established and enforce the wearing of face masks by all passengers. Defaulters will be prosecuted and their vehicles confiscated by the task force. We have taken these measures at the best interest of our state to protect our lives, businesses, and jobs, as well as to prevent our troubled economy from suffering irreparable damage. This also means that residents now bear much greater responsibility to stop and prevent our state from suffering the exponential and potential devastating spread of the virus being experienced across the country. As I have stated earlier, there's nothing to worry about. The increasing number of positive cases as such is not unexpected in the light of the intensification of contact tracing and increased testing of suspected cases. As 60% of the positive cases recorded in the state are connected with oil company workers, we have initiated a meeting with all the major oil companies to work out strategies on how we can stop this trend and stop the risk this category of workers now pose to the state. Furthermore, government is investigating the rumored or suspected outbreak of the virus at Bonny Island. Our team of medical personnel led by the Commissioner of Health have visited Bonny Island and collected samples for suspected cases for analysis and immediate intervention should the results indicate the outbreak of the virus in the area. Finally, our intelligence has intercepted a claim.
far as we are concerned, a very huge political mistake. Whether he accepts it or not, we have condemned it, and all right-thinking citizen groups all over the world have condemned that action. Even those who come to his defense, their defenses are always weak. So the governor would have as well gone ahead to bear the political consequences and go ahead with the lockdown as proposed. But he chose to relax it. And for me, I think that the governor, for one, as far as this COVID-19 crisis and era is concerned, as for one, listening like to Rivers people, or the pulse, the pulse of Rivers people. So we have to give it to him. For us, the Rivers Sector of Relations City have been following our activities. We are responsible and not partisan society coalition in the state. So where one has done well, we do well to compliment, and where you have not done well, we name and shame. So we think that for us, the governor has listened to the pulse, and of course the feeling, of Rivers people. So for us, to directly respond to your question of what's our opinion about the relaxing of the lockdown today, and of course if you look at the language, it is that we may not be locked down anytime soon. So we may not be locked down anytime soon. So I think that so clearly speaking, three factors. One, the government listened to the pulse of Rivers people, and secondly, equally looked at the political cost, a very huge political cost that would have cost is already jingling or dwindled popularity in the state. That's our direct answer to that question.
When you say political cost, what do you mean?
What I mean is that politicians, by the way they think, always want to win the next election. You may argue that the 2023 election is very far away, but you know how our politicians think here. Okay. They begin to calculate the next election. Immediately they either win or lose the last election. One would have ordinarily expected that governance would have saturated the political space. By that I mean the political players from both the ruling party and the opposition should have been surrounding themselves, in governance, then opposition criticizing governance to expand political space, giving alternative ideas to what should happen to government policies. Should they have been the one to win the elections? So those are the kind of things that occupies every sane society. With due respect, I am not saying our society is insane. This here is very terrible, and even the politicians themselves admit that our politics here is a dog-eat situation. Of course, the former governor of the state, did say it in a very recent interview where he was asked if he wants his son to be part of political process, and he openly said that he doesn't want, because our politics here is very dirty and very vicious. He confirmed that himself. So even the politicians agree that our politics here is very dirty, very bloody, and very vicious. So our politicians, what they do even from the last election is to start talking about politics of the next election. You still be hearing things like we win them before, we win them again. All those rhetorics are rhetorics of, you'll be seeing groupings. Now you'll be seeing a number of groupings. Even now, you can clearly see a number of, even in a particular political party, you begin to see alignment, and those of us who are political observers, who are political watchers, those alignments are clear. I'm not even talking about intra-political party now. So, but even within a political party, you still see these groupings, everybody aligning and realigning, people reconciling, all those reconciliation in both the ruling party and the opposition party, all those things are geared towards the next election. So you now see that there is less talk about governance, but more about winning elections. So what we mean by political cost the governor considering political cost is that whether anybody agrees or not, one thing that everybody knows in Rivers State is that the governor is popular in the state. Whether the judgment of Rivers people is correct or not is a different argument. Whether Rivers voters are educated voters or exposed voters is a different argument. But one thing you cannot take away from the governor of the state is that he is very popular. Although, yes, I agree that those popularities are caused by certain indices. One, the ethnic differences. People down here see the All Progressive Congress as an anti-Niger Delta party, so to speak, quote and unquote. There is this illusion, and of course, mostly peddled by politicians from the other side, who wants to make it look like the ruling People's Democratic Party is a pro-Niger Delta party, and that the main opposition party, the All Progressive Congress, is a northern political party. That this illusion created, mostly created by politicians to curry favor to themselves against their rival. So when you're talking about those things to place to add up to the popularity of the governor, another key thing too is that people put religious connotation to the APC. For them, it's an Islamic party. Again, this thing too is created. It's created by politicians, to bring or curry favor to themselves. So those things play out. And of course, cannot equally play out the role of IPOB, a separatist organization who is making agitation for the to separate from the Nigerian state. So, and whether you like it or not, the major strength, within the Biafran agitators is the Igbo. And whether you like it or not, the Igbos have majority in Rivers State. As what I mean majority, I mean by non-indigenous.
What point are you making with this?
The point I am making is that all these indices add to the popularity of the governor.
Okay.
But you see, all these indices are all created by men. The reality of economic survival is beginning to be clear to men that before we talk about IPOB, like for example the Ikoku people, before the traders start talking about IPOB and separation and what have you, before you start talking about Islamic party and all those things, you have to eat first. And that this man that we are supporting has delayed those food. So that reality is not making people to say, that this thing should not be about, that this man is not doing us well. If you go to the street, you hear it. People, I assure you today, if the governor goes to the poll today, if he used to have 70 to 30, I assure you, he will struggle to get 55 over 45 as we speak now as part of his popularity.
Okay.
And if he had, so the point is that if he had gone ahead with this lockdown, with the already bad situation, I assure you that the political odds would have been against him. So he would even be struggling to get 35 to 40. So as a politician, he knows the political cost. That's the point I'm trying to make. The political cost of continuing the lockdown. He understands that. So beyond the fact, I have raised two twin issues. One, the fact that you are listening to Rivers people for the first time, looking at their polls and what they are saying. Then secondly, he has equally weighed the political cost of further working people down without a clear-cut program. That is for us as our position, and that is what we think that influenced this decision.
Okay, so you're saying listening to Rivers people, that's number one. And the number two, he's considering the political cost. Okay. Interesting thoughts by you, Enefa Georgwill. Before we come back to you, let's once again welcome those who are joining us from around the world. We're live on YouTube at youtube.com/Kofi Bartels, live on Facebook at facebook.com/Kofi on Air, Kofi on Air. And of course, you can watch us on any of these platforms. If you're watching right now on Facebook, please share this live stream. Share this live stream, or you can even host a watch party, whichever. But I prefer you share. Like this post. Also, please click the notification button. Like the page, follow the page as well, and click the notification button bell so that each time we go live, you can get notified and you can join. Your thoughts are welcome. Please type a comment, post a comment here so we can read it out. And if I'd like to read some comments that are coming through, if you're on YouTube and watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the page, to the channel. Also like the video, share the video, and hit the notification button. And if we have some messages coming in for those who are listening. Mr. Israel Beregbara, good evening to you. Veli Chinekem says, Kofi, there's a child abuse situation I'd like to report to you. Please, you can send an inbox message to me. I'm sure that is something you'd like to keep private so that I can look at it and then we can advise. Thank you very much. Comrade Jesse Akaigo says, good evening, Kofi Bartels. I don't see any happiness in this issue as an unemployed youth in River State because only the poor masses are suffering. Okay. So, I mean, but you guys were saying, lockdown for what? Well, now they've canceled the lockdown and you say there's nothing to be happy about. Anyway, but I understand where you're coming from. It says even without a lockdown, people are still going to have some hard time and they need to, get out of that situation. And I understand how you feel and what people are going through. We're all in this country, so we know what's happening. Thank you, my brother. My heart goes out to you. AZ Chiku Chendu says, Kofi, please try. Hello, Enefa, are you there?
Yeah, how are you?
Okay. AZ Chiku says, Kofi, please try and reach the governor to please revisit and reopen the syringe factory. Enefa, you're on with us live.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay, it says, please please reach the governor and tell him to revisit and reopen the syringe factory, Rumosi. That place will create jobs for Rivers people and generate huge revenue to the state. Okay, Joe Yeso says, good evening. I pray and wish that this lockdown will be over before June. It's quite unfortunate. Nicholas M. Amuda Afebu says, good hearing, no more lockdown. Emmanuel Amadi says, good one. Victor David says the markets are still locked up. That is where majority of the Rivers people manage their one kobo. So, Enefa, this is not a total uhuru for people because, of course, the churches are open, but they've been advised to be, careful and go about their responsibilities, responsibly. This person who's watching right now is saying, hey, okay, fine, but what about the markets? That's where we get one kobo, manager one kobo, majority of the people. So what do you say to that, Enefa?
I think that I think that we have to be fair to government. By that I mean, even though even for the fact that the way government is managing the whole process, and rules are raising doubt, even amongst educated minds like us, we're going to having doubts about sincerity of government around this COVID-19 thing. However, we must tell ourselves the truth. World over COVID-19 is real, and of course, it's ravaging, it's a pandemic that is ravaging the world, that even world economies are managing to cope. So we think that the lockdown, the relaxation of the lockdown should be a gradual one. Our only problem is that government have not created authority, to this process. That's our only problem. Ordinarily, we don't equally expect government to just open up everywhere, especially in the face of the fact that figures are still shunning out from government quarters. Even though the way government has managed the whole process, people are beginning to have, like I said, a certain level of doubt.
Are you saying it's great that the markets are so short? Are you saying yes, you're agreeing with that it needs to be gradual? Is that what you're saying? People should understand.
No, our argument is that, for instance, the River Civil Society Organization set up the River Civil Society response team on COVID-19. And we held a town meeting, of course, which you are one of the facilitators. You participated as a guest in that town hall meeting. And of course, you had people's opinion. And resolutions came out from that town hall meeting, which we communicated to government and, of course, the media. We said, what was our case? Our case was that is not enough shutting down this market. You have to create alternative markets using public schools who are already shut down, government facilities with enough space, And these are when you shut down the regular market because of social gathering or physical gathering, because you want to avoid, you want to encourage physical distancing. What you expect at that level from government is to create alternative. So the challenge now is that government has not created this alternative, and yet the general market that about 80% of citizens, are used or patronized is still shut down. That is a challenge. So but my argument is that for me, as someone who has been a campaigner, for restrictions for this COVID-19, I cannot ask government, open up all the public spaces like the regular market. And that would be highly unfair, that would be highly unfair and unreasonable on my own part. So I think that government should have been responsible enough, with due respect, in the way and manner they manage this process. That's what we are saying. You are locking down. What are you doing, during this lockdown process? For example, we expect that you decontaminate, you fumigate. We expect that during the lockdown.
They say they will be fumigating in the coming days. That's what we hear.
When everybody, so the argument. So when we agree that government cannot, because sometimes as a civil society is our style, especially the River Civil Society Organization, is our style to always come hard on government. Sometimes we look for a way to complement government action. We look for a way to complement government action. So what we think that is reasonable is that yes, government cannot open up all the spaces, all at once. Especially the fact that new figures allegedly are being shown out. Why I use the word very carefully, allegedly, because of course the Produce Hotel Manager's case, where the owner of the hotel has openly accused government of complicity. Openly, without fear of favor, openly accused government of complicity. But in any case, in the face of those realities, no reasonable person will have to open up all the whole space. But what we are saying is that, knowing fully well that, of course, our unemployment and poverty statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics, have shown that very terrible results for Rivers State in terms of unemployment. I think I don't want to quote wrongly, but I think around within the range of 70 to 80 something percent, which is a very alarming figure. Environment or climate created for serious investment either by government or private sector. What is really apart from the regular oil companies and few other subsidiary companies? So you see that what tells you that River State is being run by informal sector. Informal sector in terms of mechanic, eco mechanic, tailor, and you shut all these places are shut down. Barbing saloon, these are the areas people eat from, bricklaying, and what have you. These are the highest driver, these are the highest employer of labor in the state. All the places you will not say shut down, and how will the woman who sells cocoa at my own market eat for the past how many days that the market is locked down? So these are the challenges. So what we expect government to do is that when we agree that the relaxing should be gradual, we agree with government. And we don't expect government to just open up all the spaces at the time. But we have advised government severally that you create alternatives to these things. And these things are not too difficult. They are not difficult. It's just for us.
What kind of alternatives are you referring to? And if it's easier,
easier said than done. Yes, for instance, we talked about alternative and neighborhood market. What in almost every space in Port Harcourt, you have public schools. Almost all in G-Line, near my office, everywhere. Even where I live, that is run about 3 public schools there. What stops government from deploying resources? Get health officers to that place, get security agencies to that place, build makeshift markets in those primary schools. Fumigate to the place, then allot shares to traders so that people can buy, even if it's on twice or thrice a week.
So you're saying that you're not expecting, even as much as you're not expecting them, an immediate resumption of normal activities like markets and all that. But you're also saying that you expect that, there will be, a plan to ensure that a controlled way of having shopping from the markets is implemented, just like you had in, say, a Lagos state. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. That's the argument. So in the absence of that, citizens are right to agitate and get angry over the closure of the regular market. So we all know how regular markets are in particular. And of course, it's good in Nigeria. It is always jam-packed. So if you close it, which I agree, it is reasonable to close, the argument is you have to create alternatives. It is the government to provide solutions and not to compound the problem. That's the argument. Okay, for instance, the US that records one of the highest cases of COVID-19 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is Florida also. A particular beach against government orders flooded the place. What does I expect to you? The government is not going to harass or beat or shoot anybody or taking anybody to court and collecting 30,000 or 20,000 from them or setting up a tax force to chase them and beat them and drag them. Government is even begging them to come out to isolate themselves.
Okay. So you're saying government should be begging people?
No, see, I am just giving you.
You don't say Florida, no be Nigeria.
No, that argument. I have said this thing before.
Okay.
It is the way you organize the society. Once you organize it like that, Florida will be like Nigeria.
Okay.
For instance, the same Nigerians who are, according to you and others, that are not law abiding, they go to Florida and they behave. Why?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Enefa. Don't put words in my mouth. But before we let you go, I want to read some more messages here. And I'd like to say good evening to those who are just joining us, from around the world, live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Thank you very much for your time. It's Late Night Talking. My name is Kofi Bartels. My guest tonight is the chairman of the River State Civil Society's organizations. He's Mr. Enefa Georgwill, and of course he's in bearing his thoughts on the recent and latest development, the cancellation of PH lockdown, which is how it's called on Twitter. The lockdown in Port Harcourt and Obi Akpo local government areas of River State. Okay, a message here. This is sent in by Sonia Iyenagbe, was saying the volume is low. Emmanuel, Daniel, Emmanuel, Ephraim, or Ephraim, Emmanuel, all of them says, okay, so I think we've been able to work on that. Ephraim Emmanuel says, don't be insensitive to these audio issues. My brother, I appreciate your passion, and we're working on it, okay? Bikono. Thank you very much. I think it's better now. Is it better? Okay. Pray for us, and also support us as well to grow. Thank you. Temple Amasin says it's a good one that he has finally eased the lockdown, but my worry is that the market women, what becomes of their hope? Okay, and if I'm even talking about that. Dimo Isaac, thanks for your feedback. Okay, all of you. Okay, it's Samuel Sam Dakroma says the audio is back. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Sam, for the feedback. I appreciate it. Okay. Ichemati Silverline says, please, he should open the markets. Kofi, so many goods will be destroyed by rodents. Brother, if you see the ones in Mount 3 markets, is it Okon Calabar? The big rats. Enefa, this issue of markets. I mean, what we have going on right now in the city is basically no social distancing. Basically, people have lost faith in any message of wearing masks. People have lost all the fear that a lot of people had when coronavirus started. The fear. And if are you there with me, please?
Yeah, with you. Say what?
Okay, so I'm saying this issue of markets. We have a message from Ichemati who says that rodents are destroying people's goods. And that the ones in Mile 3 market are very big. The rats there. Some will call them Okon Calabar. Those big rats. You're saying it needs to be a gradual return to normal activity, not a rushed one. But I'm saying, well, who are we deceiving? Who are we deceiving? The markets being open will not create any difference to what is happening right now. We're just telling ourselves, oh, markets are shut. Yes, the main markets are shut, but people are going to smaller markets. People are walking in town. There's no social distancing. People are going for church programs. There's no social distancing. Even the police, military, all these guys are moving around. No social distancing. Even task force, they're moving around. No social distancing. Political parties are having events. No, who are we deceiving? Taxis are moving around town. It's not, people are not wearing masks. So who are we deceiving? That we are actually doing it as the Yoruba people are doing. We're just postponing a rainy day or postponing the inevitable. There's nothing extra that is being prevented right now. You go to all the communities in Enefa. Go to Elikpokodu. Go to Eneka. Go to Oyigbo. Go to Eleme. People are moving around. People are just mixing in the communities. The only thing is they can't go to the market. So we're deceiving ourselves. So I say, no, we don't open the markets gradually. People are going to go to church, and you tell me that when the churches resume, that every church will be responsible. Today I saw one. They were having mass, and people were collecting the sacrament, the communion, and there was no social distancing. Because maybe government has not given people a reason to really believe. I'm not blaming government to swat upon a part of the argument. And maybe the things that have happened, lockdown for 3 days, then you lift it up 6 days, and people can move around. So what's the 3 days for? They don't understand. So all this inconsistency, they don't understand. Coffee here today, tomorrow you remove. They don't get is some inconsistent messaging and communication. Or people are just plain stubborn. I don't know. So either of the two. So what's the use of keeping the markets closed and people going hungry and their goods going bad and people remaining in debt? Those who went and then the prices of goods remaining high, and those who can't work can't even buy because the cost out of Gary is still 1,002, 1,003, 1,005. Open the markets. So what do you say to this argument?
That is why the bulk of the blame, still fall within. It's all about governor. And I think it's a lesson for everybody. While I am not scoring the current government both at the national and the state level, no, why I'm not scoring them low, I think that Nigerians should begin to know that the politicians who win the election determine their life. Determine their life. Determine their life. Determine their life for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, when they are voting, they should begin to vote politicians who have history of standing by them.
Mm-hmm.
Why this is very important is because, like I have said, politicians determine your life every 4 years, whether you agree or not. So their decisions will rub off for you. So if you play tribalism with it, if you play religion, if you play church with it, you play Islam with it, you pay daily for it. So I think that our citizens should begin to take governance very seriously and begin to participate in governance. That's the first solution. Then maybe the still on governance. Everything revolves around governance. To be very frank, government officials, both at the national and state level, have not acted in a way, both at the national and state level, have not acted in a way to make people even believe that this thing is real. Even if you argue that XYZ political leader have died of COVID-19, people will tell you people have been dying. A lot of people have a heart attack, have a high blood pressure. These are some of them are old men. They are dying is part of one of the things that qualifies an old man. That anybody that dies now is not COVID-19. So what I'm going to say is that government by his body language, his way of communication, have not acted in a way that will convince citizens that yes, of the truth, this thing is real, or possibly, like some will argue, that this thing may be here. But the way government is behaving does not equate the level of danger we have it here. For instance, a very close example, we have malaria here.
Mm-hmm.
But the malaria does not kill the black man the way it kills the white man from white man. Where the kind of mosquitoes that bite us here, of our friends who go the kind of work we do when they come here, small mosquitoes, they almost want, they almost, they begin to act as if they are facing a life-threatening ailment, which is what my son, mosquitoes bite him almost every hour or every minute of the day. So what am I trying to say? So we begin to think that possibly, even if this thing is here, that it does not equate the way our politicians are portraying it and the kind of communication they are giving to us. For instance, you saw what happened during the Bakari's area.
Yes.
Where there was clear-cut social physical gathering, any height of the virus is all over the world. The prominent politicians gathered at the cemetery down to River State. Any height of the COVID-19 virus, political leaders of the ruling political party in the state gathered openly in the height of it. You know, so what does that tell you? What does that so beyond that? You know, even the lockdown, the whole lockdown scenario, it is as if government is more interested in arresting people, taking them to court and collecting money from them. And not necessarily because our government wants to save the people. The war in itself, the way it is being managed, the way it is being communicated, is as though the people are the virus. And not that the people as the government wants to save the people from the virus. Because if the people are not the virus, when you ask people, because when you do an executive order and tell people not to come out from their house, you're infringing on their rights as guaranteed in the Constitution.
Okay.
So even when they violate those orders, the way you will treat them, the way you will talk to them, will show that of the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, brother, sorry to interrupt you there. You're saying people should think about who they vote into power. I mean, that voting people into power is not a death sentence. It shouldn't be an excuse for people to remain quiet when things go a way they don't like it to go. Yes, in other words, you're saying people should just keep quiet and go and wait till the next election, which means that even you should not be doing some of the things you're doing. Don't people deserve to talk, deserve to respond when things go wrong, regardless of who they voted for?
No, I have said that that's just one of it. One of it I just mentioned, because that is the beginning of the crisis. Because once the person wins, our institutions are weak. Because for instance, we withdraw the person from government, like withdrawing Buhari, we have the right to withdraw the money that we are giving to the president. But you are not even an equivalent tax. So the genesis, the solution of our problem is in every 4 years. We should be able to look at the ideas of men. What are they saying? These men, what are they saying? How can they explain their theory? If it's okay, you say you want to give us, you want to make investments in education. How? How are you investing? So that's the beginning. And the second is equally that citizens should begin to be responsive. I think I was saying still on governance.
Okay.
Government should begin to appear with due respect, more responsible. Because whatever government, if an individual, if I do anything, for instance, people will not take it as serious as when a legislator does it.
Mm-hmm.
People will not take it as serious as if the governor does it. So we expect that our political leaders should be more responsible by carrying themselves in a way that citizens will begin to believe what they're saying.
And if
I think that citizens should be more responsive to governance, ask questions, and try to abide by a government directive. But you see, this action of citizens too largely depends on the actions of our government. Because if government are blocking the alternatives, there'll be corner market, there'll be secret market. Just like you are actually.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just quickly read another message. It's coming in from, and I want to thank the last message I read. The sender of that message, Chemati Silverline, for his comment there on reopening the markets and the slant he brought into it. God's willing, Wabagi, good evening to you. Stella Mane says, I don't understand, Kofi, where we are in the state with the current cases of COVID-19 in River State. If we are trending up or down the curve, we have peaked. If we have peaked or flattened the curve, well, just watching the way we're handling this. So Stella has raised a very important, part of this this whole conversation, which is, what are we doing? What are we really doing? Are we just locking down and ease it up? We lock down, ease in the rising cases. We're looking at the numbers. Have we hit the peak? Because I'm sure Stella watches CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, even Channels TV, and sees what's going on in Lagos, and in Abuja with the presidential task force. And here's okay, we have hit the peak, or we have not yet hit the peak. We are getting to that point. Blah blah blah. We are now about to flatten the curve. Oh, it's time for people to now come out. Oh, it's time for people to now. We're not hearing any of that in River State, and I'm still wondering, where are we? Where are we in the state with the current cases of COVID-19? She doesn't know. Are we trending up the curve, down the curve? Have we peaked? Have we flattened the curve? So she's concerned about the way this is being handled. His Excellency, the governor of River State today did say, and I think we had talked about this earlier as an observation. But he did say that, COVID-19 decisions are taken by the State Security Council, which for some people is a cause or source of concern. So what would you say about the whole strategy of fighting COVID-19 in River State? The strategy, the thinking part of it, the ideas part of it, apart from moving out and action, but the one that requires that you sit down and look at figures, data, numbers, analyze, and stuff like that. Enefa, please.
The verdict of the River Civil Society Organization that I'm privileged to chair, and the response team that was set up for the River Civil Society response team on COVID-19 have scored both the governor and the president of River State as far as COVID-19 is concerned very, very low. Very, very low because for us, on very key areas, government have failed to do the needful. One, which is on the area of palliative. We have said that what we have is just an insult, not palliative. Despite going on radio and TV to self-praise, the palliative committee headed by the party chairman of the state have failed woefully.
Really? What's the basis?
Yeah.
What's the basis for you saying they failed? Because it's one thing for you to say the palliative committee has failed, and now come say they failed woefully. What's the basis for that?
You up till now, the palliative committee cannot tell us where their food bank is, so that our independent sources can go and verify.
The food bank, I think. The food bank, I think.
The only food bank we have, the only food bank we have in River State, is at the PDP campaign office.
But you just said they can't tell us where their food bank is, and now you're saying
that's what I'm telling you. Are you supposed to take the food bank of Nigeria to the APC National Secretariat?
No, but that is the food. Okay, so are you saying there is no food bank, or you have a problem with the location of food bank?
That kind of a place, by picture of that place alone, you have limited people from accessing the place. That is one.
But it's not meant. It's not meant for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to assess. It's just meant for those who are authorized.
No, not every Tom, Dick, and Harry. In every society, there are critical stakeholders who usually all over the world are interested in such things. You understand? For instance, I cannot and I will not go to a party campaign office to go and monitor a process. It's like going there to fool yourself, because from the beginning, it's just like from the beginning of the whole thing, I already know the end. I'll go there and mess myself and come back and start quarreling. Again,
hold on, sir. You're insinuating something. I want you to come out.
I'm not explained.
You're saying we can't fool ourselves. So what are you saying? What is there to not be fooled about that? Are you saying they're distributing to is a party affair? Maybe is that what you're saying?
Of course, now the town hall meeting was very clear, and the budget of Rivers people in that town hall meeting was very, very clear.
That
That the palliatives were shared along party lines. It's very, very clear.
okay. So hold on. So when you say shared along party lines, what do you mean? Does they share to
What I mean is party structures
which party?
in the local government area, party structures in the local government area, we are used to share it, and by implication, most of these items went to party members.
Okay, so which party structures? Hold on, Never.
The People's Democratic Party. We need to hide the People's Democratic Party. And let me say this. Beyond even that, the political committee cannot clearly, apart from what you just see, especially on social media, we just pack a trailer load of items to XYZ ward. Sometimes the ward made up of several communities. The political committee cannot clearly tell you this thing we are taking to XYZ ward. We get to 500 persons in this ward. These 500 persons are expected to have what will take care of them for 2 weeks. It's not clear. Because you're doing a lockdown, you are proposing that this lockdown may last 1 week, 5 days. So it's expected that whatever you are giving to a recipient should be something that can last him for at least 5 days, 1 week. So let's now know that in XYZ ward, made up of several communities, it is going to only get to 500 persons. Because it is when you have, those are the kind of critical questions we would have asked if if the process were open for such debate, for such questions.
Okay.
So we now know that in Ward 18 in Obiapo, for instance, that made up of several communities, we are targeting, because like they always say, it is not meant for everybody. We agree. But be clear. It is not meant for everybody. Be clear that it's going to get to 500 persons or 100 persons. And these 100 persons, yes.
Yeah.
So
you've just made an allegation. You've said that the palliatives to help people go through COVID-19 lockdown, basically food items were shared along party lines. What is your and you are claiming that they were shared to mostly members of the People's Democratic Party.
Yes.
What's your evidence? Where did you derive your evidence to make this claim from?
we did shadow monitoring of the process. We did shadow monitoring of the process. Our members of our organization did shadow monitoring of the process. And these are facts. These are facts before Rivers people. Where I live, that's it. And on the places that we did shadow monitoring for, the stories are the same. You are a journalist, do your private investigation. You get the result.
You always say that. You always say that.
Of course, you're a journalist. You can do your private investigation. People call it investigation in journalism. Do your findings. You get this result. They are not hidden. Okay. There's even another example. In the current local government in LA, a particular candidate took it to his farm, and there was stampede, and someone allegedly died. Okay, who is that person that is now being in charge of a palliative? Is that person the king of that community? Is that person the institutions of that place? That person is a party leader, and he was in possession of that process, and you had the stampede that happened. Is that too a lie? The king of that place openly said it before the whole world, and the whole world listened to it. So is that one too, is it a lie? And that is how it is in almost all the whole places. But furthermore, the palliative committee is not even clear as to how many things you agree is not going to get to everybody. But this, at least it will get, the palliative committee will say, okay, this yam rice and Gary we are sending to XYZ ward, it will get to 100 persons. This 100 persons is expected to have, okay, a medium family in Nigeria or in Rivers State can manage 5 tubers of yam, maybe this 5 kg rice, maybe a rubber of this, a basin of gari, that can take them for, say, struggling between 1 to 2 weeks. Assuming that they are going to get other things like protein outside. Because all you are giving them is just, that's why I said that this palliative is even fun. When you see what palliative is in Europe, what constitutes palliative, when you see the package, nobody will tell you it's palliative. And nobody will tell you how much it will last. So that's why I said that one of the things we even do as call it palliative is even an insult. But as bad as this thing is, it is not even the case. What you see people collecting yam, dividing into two, and the improved version, one yam. You give an entire family. You give half rubber of a custard rubber, or 1 rubber of custard rubber for the entire family. Is that a palliative? So these are the things we're talking about. The political community is not even clear.
Okay,
all we see is radio jingles and television and video of how they are packing things to a particular community. And when you are packing those in the right community, who is it targeted at how many persons? We don't know these things. All you see is just praise singing, and we have shared to River State, His Excellency is the state wonder of the world. The political committee chairman, the PDP chairman, is a very good man.
Okay.
The kind of things you hear. When you ask for details, they begin to run away from those details and say you hate the government. These are the kind of arguments you get. Beyond even that, that's for palliative. Now let's get to communication. How is the government communicating to Rivers State? For example, even this relaxation of lockdown, we got to know about it in the evening.
Yeah. Most of the lockdown announcements have come, when people have already concluded the arrangements.
Panic. People have panic. But my neighbor, someone who lives in the next flat after me, fell where she was trying to.
Sorry, I didn't hear you well. You say people have
panic bought. People have panic buying have gone on. People have bought at outrageous prices, like we have agreed. When you close the regular market and refuse to create an alternative market, human beings, being who they are because they must eat, will create secret market. And that social gathering or physical gathering you are avoiding will not happen secretly. Now, people have, and what to be the natural price when you don't create an alternative? Because if you create an alternative market, you are going to standardize that price and monitor the price, and nobody can increase the price.
What was that? What was what we were saying about your neighbor falling?
So my neighbor, because she was trying to beat the time of the coffee by 8 o'clock, she fell and got herself injured. And that is how really I believe a lot of people really have suffered one form of injury or the other. People have withdrawn their savings from the bank to buy things at very exorbitant prices, and all of a sudden you have the whole of yesterday and you did not inform them. You have this morning, you didn't tell them. Even me. Because this evening, immediately after I bought things for my house, so that was when I got to hear about the lockdown.
My brother, it was when I was leaving the supermarket. The supermarket owner said, "You don't know." I said, "Oh, my radio has been switched off and I've been offline because I've been running around town in traffic." He said, "You're supposed to be telling me now." I said, "I know, but I've been offline all evening and I had already bought the things I wanted to buy."
So the communication as far as this COVID-19 pandemic is concerned is very, very poor. And the worst of it all, is the front line, those who are the front line.
Okay.
For God's sake, in this kind of pandemic, those who should be in the front line should be health workers, not politicians.
How do you mean? How do you mean? Because when you say front line, is it that the politicians are the ones treating people in the isolation centers or what?
See, when it comes to, like we have argued, pandemic is not a war. It is a health pandemic. It is not a war against the people. It is a health pandemic that needs health officials to work. For example, we expect to hear things like the Enefa is part of the committee. The Enefa and the different structures should be part of this process. We expect to hear things like health workers, maybe 10,000 health workers in River State have been trained specially for this, and all necessary equipment provided by the River State government, even from day one, or from the first 1 month of this pandemic. We expect to hear things like we have bought mobile clinics. Mobile clinics that have a medical doctor attached to the mobile clinic. Mostly it's a form of ambulance. But inside the ambulance, you have a small clinic that has first aid, have some COVID-19 first aid equipment, have equipment for other things like BP, which are sicknesses that are easily suffered by some countries. BP, high blood pressure, doctors who can attend to those things. And these mobile clinics or these mobile clinics deployed to different strategic points of the state during this lockdown. These are the kind of things we need to hear. We need to hear that at the borders, that health officials, well trained, have been mobilized to that place to make sure that certain level of tests on drivers, goods that are coming to the states, are deployed, and you only attach security officials to this team, this medical team. So what we have in River State is that security agencies are mostly terrorized citizens, especially tax force. That is what is in the front line. The next thing you see politicians even in this whole process. Sometimes you even scarcely hear from the Commissioner for Health. Sometimes you hear certain very sensitive information from the Commissioner for Information or the Governor. We are not saying that these persons cannot even periodically, like telling the Governor, this is the head of the team, can periodically, talk to Rivers people or brief Rivers people, just like you mentioned earlier, and that's steady briefing. But the point is that those who are going to move this process without, you see that health workers, what do you even see? We hear doctors being pitied. You see the governor making remarks like a medical doctor who is not on duty, we use the opportunity to go and see his girlfriend. You begin to wonder. In this kind of process, you see medical doctors, whether those on duty or not, these are persons that should be deployed and engaged.
Okay.
Given that, we need to hear things like, okay, we have improved our medical insurance on our medical doctors, that because of this COVID-19, medical insurance have been increased, or pay, even as an allowance, that we know to motivate them. We need to hear things like as an allowance have been increased.
Okay. And if I hold the thought, we need to hear. Okay, hold the thought. We'll come back.
So in these three fronts,
So instead of number one, health,
communication,
number two, communication,
and palliative.
Palliative. Okay.
And palliative. We'll
come back to your take on the strategy of the River State government as far as the fight against COVID-19 in River State is concerned. But it's still late night talk. My name is Kofi Bartels. My guest on the program tonight is Enefa, Mr. Enefa Georgwill, the chairman of the River State Civil Societies Coalition, and of course bearing his mind on the latest development, which is the cancellation of the lockdown in River State in Port Harcourt local government area and Obiakpo local government area as well. One thing he talked about, which is quite interesting, is the fact that there was little time for people to adjust themselves, because the announcement came in at about 4 p.m. today, or 5 p.m. today, and people were not really ready. People had stayed in lines for a long time. People had queued for hours just to get bread, to get supplies. People are going to stock up supplies to last them a month, weeks, 2 weeks, sometimes at exorbitant prices, higher than what they usually would pay for, only to just come here when at the last minute that the lockdown has been cancelled. It doesn't give people room to plan and to execute and to be confident, even in the process. That's why I was saying maybe even the inconsistency of government and the last minute, and the sort of unsure body language they have has made people lose faith in the whole fight against coronavirus, and probably that's why we don't see them wearing masks and all that. But let's read some messages here before we come back to you. Stella Amani, thank you very much for your message. Emmanuel Odopise, Peter, says, good evening, Kofi. I want to say that I'm happy at least the partial freedom is better than the total lockdown. Believe me, my brother, what we are suffering in Nigeria is government pandemic, not COVID-19. Enefa, did you hear that? It says we're suffering government pandemic. I want to say that the lockdown does not make any sense at all. I want to say that let the River State governor deem it fit to use a change out of the billions he has made from the lockdown to buy sanitizer, and let the task force mount the marketplaces to ensure that people use it. The market and other social places should be fumigated. Yes, I don't know where you think the government has made billions from the lockdown. I've not heard anything like that. But there's a plan by the River State government through the Ministry of Environment to fumigate parts of River State, and we hear that they're training personnel to do that. That was told to us on this program, Late Night Talk, by the Honorable Commissioner for Information last night. Okay. Thank you very much, my brother. AB George Apangolo says, good evening, Kofi. I appreciate the governor for the cancellation of the lockdown. So it's become a thing of appreciation now. Enefa, are you sure we won't see congratulatory messages on air?
I won't be surprised.
But anyway, he says, I appreciate the governor for the cancellation of the lockdown. Indeed, he's a listening governor. But I should please open up the markets too, because some people live on those trades. If possible, they should open 3 times a week. Thank you for your message, Akpangule. Inse Abasi says, good evening, Kofi. I'm happy with the cancellation of the lockdown. Dimwa Isaac says, it's an Ikoku market now open for business. We'll read. The markets are closed, basically. So, no. But Georgwill, I noticed, I went to last week, I think on Friday or so, I visited MNK Street. I wasn't over that place where they sell electrical materials, lights and all that.
That's Okija.
And you know when you enter from MNK, which is just opposite Ilabuchi, you'd see spare parts people. A few of them. As you're going in, you see those. They were open. They were open, and this made, I'm sure, I wonder how the Ikoku people will feel, knowing that they are not allowed to open, but if you go to MNK Okija all the way, they are all open. What do you make of that?
Well, I think that I don't.
Do you think that skipped the governor? Maybe he skipped that part skipped because Ikoku was, he was particular about Ikoku shutdown. Maybe that skipped.
There are speculations that the governor is doing particularly involved Ikoku because of their position on Chime Kunadu, and that there are allegations that because of the governor's quietness, if you like, refusal to speak on the death of Chime Kunadu, that the governor may not be happy with the Ikoku traders. But these are mere speculation. Yeah. And for us, the Rivers Civil Society organizations, we don't delve into such a petty speculation. My worry is this observation, and I think it will reflect the part of what we will another town hall meeting, still on Zoom, sorry. And I think those are part of the things that we are going to really amount. I think one, post-COVID-19 economy of Rivers State. 2, the selective shutting down, what we make of it, and of course other very burning issues around the COVID-19 thing. So discuss it elaborately. We have decided on it, and we're going to discuss on it in the town hall. And but like I said, we don't want to delve into that arena of speculation. But we think to that, the Ikoku has the same characteristics with the Okija people, and it's only reasonable that if, in fact, in terms of even necessity, the Ikoku seem to, in the order of priority, we are not saying electrical parts are not important, but in the order of priority, the Ikoku seem to have more effect on Rivers people than the electrical spare parts. If you argue that, okay, people gather a lot at Ikoku, people still gather at the electrical it's almost they have almost similar
There was
characteristics.
absolutely no. So if we're saying markets are to be shut, why wasn't the electrical market shut?
You know, so
Well, I mean, there was no social distancing whatsoever. It was just a field day.
yeah. So I think that, but truth be told, the Ikoku area is one area that people gather a lot.
Mm.
But again, and this is where we fault government. We are not faulting government because Ikoku was even shut down to be frank to government. I'm only faulting them because they didn't organize the place. Knowing fully well how important Ikoku accounts for about 70 to 80% of the area where people get their spare parts. I dare to say. I have not done an analysis on it, but I can tell you from a layman's point of view that 80% of our spare parts, especially on issues of repair, is done at Ikoku.
Okay.
And so that is correct. Knowing fully well that even the commercial vehicles need the Ikoku trader. But even as we speak, the people are, some few persons are still manipulating the process to go ahead with their trade. But the danger with that is just like the closure of market. The major popular market. The danger is that whatever you are going to buy for 5 naira will now go for 10 naira. Because by the time the security agencies or more, so by the time the big security agencies to smuggle these goods to you, or go ahead to return your vehicle at the risk of endangering their lives or being taken to a isolation center and being tried in mobile court. So they put all those problems to the end user, which is the consumer. I'm very fully aware that most rivers people use commercial vehicles. In fact, commercial vehicles have been used almost everywhere in the world. So one would have thought that our government would have looked for a way to either create an alternative for the cocoa traders elsewhere, just like the popular market, the arguments you're making for the popular market.
Okay.
Or even insist in that place, keep security and the tax force and other health officials in a way that they will have no other choice than to comply to, at least a reasonable extent, what is it called, physical distancing. We equally know, just to add this, equally government at a particular point in time had arrangements with the Google traders to relocate them, to an alternative place before now. One begins to wonder. I think even at that time I even heard that some traders even made financial commitment. That mechanic at
Mile 3.
That mechanics village to Ikoku. That even traders, even made some financial commitments.
Yes. We had all that. But before, because of time, let's just read a couple of last messages. This single matter is something I'm sure in some future time would have more extensive time to discuss. But I want to thank Nkechinyere. Dimo Isaac who asked a question, Enefa, which he's just responded to. Nkechinyere Moses, good evening to you. She says she's enjoying the program. I came in with him, says Kofi Bartels the final word. This is not what we're talking about, but thank you very much for your time. Namana been a woman. Yeah, see well. Because me, I know I'm in trouble. Shaki Toyin says, good day, good job, Kofi. Thank you very much. The Icon Studio says, I agree with Enefa that a government should start being responsible in all ramifications. Okay, thank you very much. AB, George Apangulo says, we heard from the news that during the third phase of the lockdown, which would have commenced with the UNICEF in collaboration with the state government, will fumigate and decontaminate some public places. My question is, now the lockdown is cancelled, when will it take place? That's a good question we would have to ask the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, because yesterday the Commissioner for Information told us they're training personnel and that will take place. We have someone who has a very long name here, but I'll just go to Umo. Okay, the name is Ekpene Obong Unwa Unna Biondwa. I beg God help me. Umo. So let's go to Ekpe Umo. It says, enjoy this program, but I suggest the subjects for discussion should be extended to issues that affect our country in generally, not River State alone. Okay, we'll look into that. Thank you very much. Ovundai Ho, good evening to you, sir. He says, better late than never. To everything, there's a downside. So it's quite unfortunate that people would have been exploited in a bid to stock up. That's the society we live in. Eko Sike Onyedikachi, who is on YouTube, says, I'm enjoying the program. And if we have to go. Final thought from you. Today, the River State governor announced that, that decisions regarding COVID-19 in River State are taken by the State Security Council. What's your response to that? Very shortly, please.
For us, that is diversionary. That is diversionary, and the executive order that he made was not taken by the State Security Council. It's clear, the governor's executive order, or the River State government, and there's somebody responsible for it. So those who have infractions, those who have issues with it, who wish to go to court, will of course take the River State government and possibly join the River State governor in the suit. So the River State government will be taken to court, and if the court deem it necessary, the River State government will pay. So as far as we are concerned, the idea of saying Security Council, we don't. For us, it's just diversionary.
Okay.
And the way of saving fees.
Okay.
That is not correct.
All right. Enefa, I want to thank you very much for your time. It's been quite interesting. We've done more than an hour, and you've given us always incisive, an hour 11 minutes actually, incisive analysis as always. I want to thank you very much. And when we are ready, we'll have a social distancing show right here. I'm presenting this from my dining table actually. So I have all my glasses here. We'll clear up this dining table, and we'll have you here so we can sit together face to face and talk. And would I be welcome?
And all the River people, thank you, Kofi Bartels.
All right. See you soon. God bless you. Bye. Okay, so we're done. I would like to thank all of you who sent in your messages. Would like to leave you with this speech, the address by His Excellency the Governor of River State, Governor Nyesom Wike, on the cancelled lockdown. Yes, that's what we'll call it. People were on queue. I passed by a giant supermarket. I think one of the market squares at Rukboko. First of all, the hold-up in town was crazy. The hold-up in town was really crazy, really crazy. And one of the roads that we used, we had to take a U-turn or go back, do a U-turn and use another road. And then we met another block road. We had to go back to the old road, and it was crazy, really crazy. It took some SARS officers to come and clear up the hold-up. Got to one popular supermarket at Trupoko, CQ outside. Went to Jerry, CQ outside. Went to Mommy B to look for where to buy bread. CQ outside. It was really crazy. And then finally got to a supermarket, bought a lot of things. I wasn't online. I wasn't really checking. I didn't expect anything. Though some people said, the governor gives speeches, late. You never can tell. I bought my things, paid. That was when the supermarket owner knows I'm a journalist. I paid when I finished paying. And now came in and said, she don't hear said, okay, I said, hey, Bebo. I looked at the things that was carried. I said, I've not heard. I've been offline. My phone has been off. My radio I've been listening to something else, not news and all that. So I didn't hear. And by the time I was going back, the market square in Jerry, the crowd had disappeared. People don't tire. But we don't know what's going on. We don't know what the government, what happens behind, the brick walls of the brick house. All we can say is we pray for the best. We pray for wisdom for His Excellency the Governor and all the people who are doing a great work of leading River State. We will end with the speech by His Excellency the Governor of River State. And, of course, this is where I say thank you very much for your time and have a good night. Let's go over straight to His Excellency the Governor of River State, His Excellency Governor Nyesom Wike, as he announced the cancellation of the lockdown. I return with late night talk, same time tomorrow. God bless you. Good night.
My dear good people of River State, in the last 2 months, we have implemented several calculated measures in response to the outbreak of the coronavirus in our state. Some of these measures were severe but necessary, including the total lockdown of Obiabo and Port Harcourt local government areas, which are, without doubt, the socio-economic nerve centers of our state. Arguably, these measures and your sacrifices have enabled us so far to contain and limit the spread of this virus to 4 out of the 22 local government areas of the state. Also, the pattern of infection remains predictable, as there is yet any evidence of serious community transmission, although this cannot be ruled out with the increasing number of positive cases, the majority of which are connected with contacts with oil company workers who imported the disease into the state. And so, while we should all still be concerned, since our set goals in the battle against the virus are not yet achieved, we are totally in control, working hard every day and believing that the worst will soon be behind us. In continuation of our struggle against the spread of COVID-19 in our state, we had planned to resume the total lockdown on Obiabo and Port Harcourt local government areas from Wednesday, 27th May 2020. However, after a comprehensive review of the measures we have taken and further considerations placed before us by well-meaning members of the public, the State Security Council has decided to cancel the proposed lockdown on Obiabo and Port Harcourt local government areas of the state. In essence, no part of River State is or will be under any lockdown from this moment, and this will be so except where it becomes necessary again. As we all know, the regular washing of hands, religious wearing of face masks, keeping effectively physical and social distance of between 1.5 to 2 meters from other people, completely avoiding touching of faces with unwashed hands, and cleaning of surfaces we regularly touch have been identified as some of the most effective measures against contracting this virus in the absence of vaccine. These are not difficult measures that should warrant any excuses for negligence, none or ineffective compliance. Consequently, we wish to reinforce our decision on continuous implementation of the following measures throughout the state to mitigate the spread of this virus. All land borders, including all exits and entry routes into River State, shall remain closed to human and vehicular traffic, and sea borders, except those on essential services and duly exempted. All residents must wear face masks or covering into any public space, including our roads, banks, shopping malls, shops, hotels, and in any lawful social gathering. The State Task Force and security agencies have been directed to arrest and summarily prosecute any person seen on our streets or any other public place without wearing face masks. All banks, motor parks, hotels, restaurants, shops, business centers, shopping malls, and offices must maintain social distancing and enforce the wearing of face masks in their premises. The State Task Force and security agencies have been directed to seal up, prosecute, and confiscate to the state any bank, shopping mall, restaurant, business places, or office that fails to enforce social distancing and the wearing of face masks in its premises. In addition to providing daily guest lists to the police and the Department of State Security, hoteliers must not host large gatherings, including parties and receptions. Defaulting hotels will be sealed up and the owners summarily prosecuted. All bars, beer parlors or drinking joints, nightclubs, viewing centers, open markets, and cinemas shall remain closed until further notice. Oil mill market in other local government area shall remain closed until further notice. Ogniwa slaughter market in other local government area shall similarly remain closed until further notice. Mbiama market in Ahuda West local government area shall also remain closed until further notice. All public weddings, burials, and large social gatherings shall remain banned. Churches and other religious gatherings should continue to comply with the existing advisory on social distancing, initiate temperature checks, and enforce the wearing of face masks during their worships and other activities. Dealers in Ikoku spare parts markets are warned for the last time to stop converting public roads to mechanic workshops or risk final closure. Similarly, no mechanic workshop should be found along the quarry road, as government will prosecute defaulters and confiscate any vehicle being repaired on any public road. Private and commercial vehicles, including tricycles, must continue to limit their passengers to the number earlier established and enforce the wearing of face masks by all passengers. Defaulters will be prosecuted and their vehicles confiscated by the task force. We have taken these measures at the best interest of our state to protect our lives, businesses, and jobs, as well as to prevent our troubled economy from suffering irreparable damage. This also means that residents now bear much greater responsibility to stop and prevent our state from suffering the exponential and potential devastating spread of the virus being experienced across the country. As I have stated earlier, there's nothing to worry about. The increasing number of positive cases as such is not unexpected in the light of the intensification of contact tracing and increased testing of suspected cases. As 60% of the positive cases recorded in the state are connected with oil company workers, we have initiated a meeting with all the major oil companies to work out strategies on how we can stop this trend and stop the risk this category of workers now pose to the state. Furthermore, government is investigating the rumor of suspected outbreak of the virus at Bonny Island. Our team of medical personnel led by the Commissioner of Health have visited Bonny Island and collected samples for suspected cases for analysis and immediate intervention should the results indicate the outbreak of the virus in the area. Finally, our intelligence has intercepted a clandestine plan by some criminal elements led by one Boboski, who's been sponsored to cause security breaches in the state by instigating violence and burning down churches in Kana, Eleme, Gokana, Tai, Oyibo, Ikwe local government areas of the state. We want to assure all residents that the state government is fully ready and prepared to deal with the situation and continue to guarantee the protection of lives and property throughout the state. We implore all residents to be vigilant and report all suspicious characters and movements in their neighborhoods to security agencies. As a further security measure, we have decided to impose a nighttime curfew on all the 23 local government areas of the state from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. starting from the 2nd of June 2020 until further notice. Leaders and vigilante groups in our communities are to work with security agencies to enforce the curfew in their localities and arrest and prosecute anyone that violates this curfew order. As a government, we are doing our best and will continue to spare no efforts to protect our state and advance the best interests of our people. Nothing can scare, deter, or derail us from this path. And so, we urge our people to stop the fake news on social media, stop the baseless bickering, the needless blame game, and the seditious rumors that does no good to our image or provide any solution to the common challenges that we face. Rather, we should all come together, put our faith in our own hands, and work for the common good of all, whether as individuals, families, or as communities. This is the only way to spare our state, our people, and our economy from the devastating effects of the corona pandemic at this time. We cannot stop appreciating our health workers who have continued to put their lives at risk in the forefront.